Imagine a missile slicing through the night sky, not just a weapon of war, but a signal, a spark that could ignite a global crisis. What if the recent missile attack by Iran on Israel is not just an isolated strike, but the first move in a high-stakes geopolitical game? Could this be the moment when the delicate balance in the Middle East tips towards chaos? Iran's October 1st missile strike on Israel wasn't just another chapter in a long-standing feud. It was an explosive signal of what might be a new era of instability in the Middle East. This event has far-reaching implications, not just for the countries directly involved, but for the entire world, with potential economic, military, and political consequences. By examining the history, the immediate triggers, and the broader regional stakes, we'll unravel how this attack could reshape the landscape of global politics. Let's dive deep into the roots of this conflict, the motivations behind the missile strike, and what might come next in this dangerous geopolitical chess match. On the night of October 1st, 2024, Iran launched a barrage of ballistic missiles targeting northern Israel. The missiles, aimed at military bases, were intercepted by Israel's state-of-the-art Iron Dome system, but not before causing significant damage to key military installations. Initial estimates suggest that this was not a symbolic show of force. This was a tactical strike aimed at weakening Israel's military infrastructure. So why now? Iran's timing suggests that this attack was carefully calculated, leveraging the growing geopolitical tensions in the region, while also sending a warning to both its regional enemies and global powers. To understand why this missile strike matters, we need to trace the rivalry between Israel and Iran, a Cold War that has raged for decades. Ever since the Iranian Revolution in 1979, Iran's government has held an uncompromising stance against Israel, viewing it as an illegitimate occupier of Palestinian land. This ideological clash has fueled proxy wars across the Middle East, with both sides supporting opposing factions in Syria, Lebanon, and Gaza. Israel, meanwhile, has viewed Iran's growing influence and nuclear ambitions as existential threats, striking back with covert operations, cyber attacks, and alliances with Arab nations like Saudi Arabia. This missile strike is the latest flashpoint in a rivalry that has shaped Middle Eastern politics for over 40 years. So why would Iran choose to strike now? The timing is critical. This attack comes amidst a backdrop of crumbling US-led negotiations to revive the Iran nuclear deal, deepening sanctions that have crippled Iran's economy, and increasing internal unrest within Iran itself. The missile strike serves as a distraction from domestic issues, uniting Iran's people against a common enemy, Israel. Additionally, Iran is pushing back against the warming relations between Israel and several Arab nations, particularly Saudi Arabia. Tehran views this newfound alliance as a direct threat to its influence in the region. By attacking Israel, Iran is signaling to its rivals and allies that it won't back down, even in the face of diplomatic isolation. The ripple effects of this missile strike could extend far beyond the Middle East. For one, Iran could retaliate against Israel's allies by targeting global oil shipping routes, especially the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil supply passes. A disruption here could send shockwaves through the global economy, spiking oil prices and causing economic chaos. Then there's the military dimension. Israel, backed by the US, might retaliate, triggering a broader war that could draw in Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran-backed militias across the region. In the worst-case scenario, this could lead to an all-out regional war, with US and Russian involvement heightening the risks of global escalation. For the US, this attack complicates an already delicate balancing act. On one hand, Washington has to support Israel, its closest ally in the Middle East. On the other, it must avoid a prolonged military conflict in the region, which could lead to a new wave of instability. President Biden's administration faces a difficult choice: pursue diplomatic channels with Iran, risking a perception of weakness, or support military retaliation, which could drag the US into another costly Middle Eastern conflict. The world is watching, and the decisions made now will shape the Middle East for decades to come. This missile strike is more than just an isolated military move. It's a signal that the balance of power in the Middle East is shifting. The next steps by Israel, Iran, and the US could either lead to greater instability or a new phase of diplomacy. What do you think? Will this lead to a larger regional war, Or can diplomacy still save the day? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into global politics and security.